What about the weather, though? Let's talk about that. From Charlotte to Lenore, go live over High Brighton Mountain. Just a beautiful Wednesday to be outside. With the return to spring, though, that comes the return of the pollen. Have you felt it a little bit? Let's get over to meteorologist Brandon Lawson and Chief Meteorologist Tara Lane at the Pinpoint Weather Center. You guys, you see a lot of those Bradford pears that have blossomed already.
Oh, yeah.
And some people probably already feeling the pollen pain.
And those smelly Bradford pears, too, right?
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. We were just talking about St. Patrick's Day. I think
Yes.
our cars might be dressing up by next Monday and some of that green as well.
And it's such a tough time of year, too, because so many people with the warmer temperatures, you want to open the windows, but then that just means you let in some of that pollen and you start sniffling and sneezing again.
You're getting outside, doing a jog, maybe just working out outdoors, grilling out, and you have to deal with the sniffling, the sneezing, and unfortunately, it's that time of year. Pollen levels continue to increase. We've got high pollen levels already today.
Oh, yeah.
And, I mean, we're just talking about this warm-up just starting. Taking a look at the pollen forecast for you. Today, we're dealing with high pollen levels. Tomorrow, Friday, and even Saturday, we're going to be dealing with those high pollen levels out there. So definitely probably going to be sneezing and sniffling here as we go over the coming days and even into early next week as well. So definitely something we'll be monitoring here in the Pinpoint Weather Center, along with those warmer temperatures that we are experiencing. Now, pollen in the Carolinas, it tends to peak in April. So unfortunately, it's only going to get worse from here. Pollen season actually starts in March. Sometimes it can start in late February, but again, it peaks in April around the Carolinas. The top tree allergens we see are oak, hickory, birch, and yellow poplar, but we can also see river birch. American beech trees also can produce a lot of pollen as well. Grass pollen, if that's something you're susceptible to, it usually doesn't peak until closer to summer when you start greening up the grass and things like that. Now, most allergy seasons are actually getting longer. The big reason for that is because our growing seasons are getting longer. This has to do with climate change a bit here. So when we start warming things up and we stay warmer longer during the summer and into the fall, what ends up happening is we don't get that freeze until later in the season. So that allows growing season to be longer. So this is upstate South Carolina, looking at data from NOAA and also nonprofit group Climate Central. We're talking about 20 more days of growing season, which could mean, again, 20 more days of more elevated pollen levels. You're also talking about the Raleigh-Durham area, seeing nearly 40 more days of growing season. Now, here's a little trick here. Charlotte, when you look at the data, it's actually showing that growing season's coming down a little bit. And one thing that happens with climate change is we get big shifts in weather patterns. So the polar jet stream could be altered a little bit. And an area like Charlotte is in a spot where we deal with what's called cold air damming a lot. You get cold air wedged up against the mountains quite often, especially as we get later into the summer, the fall months. When that setup happens, you can get colder a little bit quicker. So we can get temperatures right at freezing or below freezing a little early in Charlotte. And that's why we tend to see Charlotte's growing season end a little bit earlier. But again, the overall pattern for Charlotte during spring is that we are warming things up about 3 degrees warmer compared to what we were 50 years ago during the spring season in the Queen City. Let's take a live look from West Charlotte right now. Again, if you have been outside, probably experiencing the sniffles, but at least we've got some nice weather to take advantage of, Tara.